Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Jahliel. In this incarnation, I am here today to talk about the energies of this next week from today, March 30th until April 7th. I'm going to extend one more day of the next week because we have transits that are connected. So I was telling you yesterday that we continue with the manifestations of the solar eclipse in Aries. And also we are going through the first week of Neptune in Aries, discovering this energy. We are going to see that there are a lot of transits that come from the eclipse that are going to be perfected. And well, Neptune in Aries, it is mainly about this practical spirituality. I mean, the spirituality that we are taking to action. Probably the things that we are beginning right now, we are going to notice that require a lot of commitment and responsibilities because Saturn also entered in Aries, in short. And it is also about understanding that what could be incoherence with ourselves cannot conform everyone. I'm going to give an example of this because in 2020, many of us, we had to take decisions regarding the health system that were going against the current, against what massively was happening. And of course, that had consequences at that moment. But what I'm trying to say with this, it is that we are going to have an emphasis of this, and not only in one decision, in every area of our lives, because Aries is our identity, is everything that we are. So it is in that house of the natal chart in which we have Aries where the energy is going to be channeled, but certainly because we are talking about a transpersonal, this is going to impact in every area of our lives. And with this, with this thing of assuming decisions, this doesn't mean that we have to be like violent or treating people that don't think or see what we are seeing with excessive aggressiveness. Aggressiveness is an energy that we can use to move forward, to impulse ourselves, to take action, to begin. But also when it is an imbalance, it is expressed in many ways that we can see in the world nowadays. So if there is a lot of anger, it is a projected shadow that we are putting, perhaps for trying to convince or investing energy in trying to convince other people of our own truth. And I think that the best thing it is moving ourselves, being an example. I mean, taking steps that represent the independence of the old system. This is going to be very important in the next years, but we don't need more of this excessively aggressive energy in the world to self-affirm, but we need to be to take concrete decisions. Integrating the duality is not keeping ourselves in the middle of things. It is about taking action and moving forward. So, well, let's go with the transits of this next week. On April 2nd, we have the conjunction of Venus retrograde in Pisces with the North Node. The first one happened in February 1st. So at that moment, something was revealed. And we are, every time that we have a contact with the North Node, we are moved to do something new. This is a phase of reevaluation because Venus is retrograde. But, well, this is about connecting with what brings truly satisfaction from a place that doesn't respond to the, the desires of the disconnected ego. On the contrary, this is a satisfaction, or this is a connection with desires that are profoundly in alignment with our inner self. And necessarily this implies to leave behind something that is old, and an old way of operating in our relationships. This doesn't necessarily, it is about romantic relationships. An old form of creating, of generating resources, an old form of treating ourselves that actually keeps us away from creating affinity of form with the experiences of plenitude. So all of this is given through something new that is beginning, with Neptune in Aries being the ruler of the North Node, and this will impact in these aspects of our experience, especially. But well, this transit, it is very connected with the one that I'm going to talk about at the end of this video. They are all connected. On April 4th, we have the perfection of the minor grand trine, which is also part of the eclipse Aries. Uranus is the focal point in this configuration. So all the aspects are perfected the same day. Saturn in Pisces in a sextile with Uranus in Taurus, Mars in Cancer in a sextile with Uranus in Taurus, and Mars in Cancer creating a trine with Saturn in Pisces. So the introduction of this is Uranus as being the apex. It is the point where life is telling us that we have to make changes. We have the opportunity to make changes to create a new stability regarding the things that we value, our resources. The perhaps this is about a home. Everything that in which we have created stability, inner resources that we could put to function. So we have these aspects of support because they are all harmonic to move forward and to give form to these things. Also, the trine between Mars in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces, it could be the fruit of an invested energy, something that we have, put effort for a while, or perhaps it is the materialization of an opportunity that is quite nourishing for us because we took a decision that was representing commitment with ourselves. Could also be renewing the commitment to continue with a project that is quite nourishing, and it is very associated with our inner world, our home, our family, our taking care our immediate circle. So it is a very, very nice energy, this one, that will continue for almost the whole week. Okay, on April 6th, we have the Sun in Aries perfecting, actually, this sextile with Jupiter in Gemini. This is also part of the eclipse Aries. So the Sun in Aries, it is like, move on. I am going to go there. I'm going to take action. I won't think about this. So first, I go with the warnings and then with the positive things, because it is also another harmonic aspect. What happens when we have these mixed energies of Aries and Jupiter, it is that many times we could have excessive confidence regarding something that we are not thinking at all. And mainly this is about, thinking in immediate satisfaction, or things that could bring this enjoyment or this sense of growth, but we are not thinking too much if they are actually aligned with a purpose in our experience. So this is the thing. This is a beautiful sextile. And that the most recommended way of using it is to think if that thing that we are choosing to grow, or that opportunity of expansion, is actually aligned with our path, truly connected with our purpose. This is the thing. It has to have a sense, so it truly represents that expansion. And also with Jupiter in Gemini, it is like a moment to choose between options, to finally choose between options, and not to embrace everything, or not to give attention for mental focus to things that aren't actually contributing. That same day, we have Venus retrograde in Pisces, creating a trine with Mars in Cancer. This is another beautiful aspect. So if these opportunities of expansion, the things that we are beginning with, are linked with starting something in relationship, in a society, this aspect, it is beautiful. Perhaps we are reevaluating something. It is like, I been really thinking about this, and now I would like to do this way, so we can find agreement with other party to do something very nurturing, something very aligned with our dreams. This could be linked with that. Also, if this is not about another person, if this is not about a relationship or a society, this is about unifying inside. I mean, unifying our masculine and feminine energies, creating vessel, but also taking action regarding that thing that is very aligned with our dreams. It is a very, very beautiful aspect. Or giving shape, understanding which is the direction, which is the decision, all of this, because Venus is retrograde. On April 7th, we have Venus retrograde in conjunction with Saturn in Pisces. And this is the transit that I was telling you that is part also of the first one, Venus conjunction North Node, because in mathematical degrees, they are all very, very close. The first conjunction with Saturn happened in January 18th with Venus direct. So something was shown at that moment too. And this is the moment to understand if we are really willing to commit with that relationship or not, or with that society, with that purpose, with that offering. It is also a moment where it is shown that there is a boundary that is very important to establish to respect our energy and the one of the environment. And this could also signify that if we are not aware of, in this instance, of the boundaries that we need to put to evasions, escapisms, to what is not in coherence with ourselves and it is not building, constructing, actually in our experience. So life could put us situations that are marking this with clarity. Situations with that, with Saturn, many times could be frustrating or painful. This is, the other aspect of this conjunction, but they are the lessons that offer growth and that are showing us what is love and what is a distortion from love, because Saturn, it is always linked with spiritual maturity, in this case, Saturn in Pisces. So, well, I'm going to expand on this transit later. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is that on that same day, April 7th, Mercury becomes direct. So this is the last week of Mercury retrograde. It goes out of the stationary period on April 10th. I am saying this because the effects of Mercury retrograde that many people associate with Mercury retrograde, like the misunderstandings in communication, the problems with technological devices, on traveling, etc., happen usually at the beginning and at the end of the retrogradation. So from April 10th, it is actually when Mercury it is opening the way. So mainly, many people could be taking the important decisions in the middle, at the half of April, because Venus turns direct too. But already this transit has this tendency to move things that were stagnated, conversations, answers that perhaps you were waiting, if you are managing certain projects and you were depending on something on the outside. So many things start to move with this transit. So it is a moment of clarity, greater clarity to assume decisions too. Okay. I wanted to mention a last thing that I forgot to mention at the first part of the video, and it is, I already did videos about this, Mars is getting closer and closer to the last opposition with Pluto in Aquarius, and this is a very important tension that we have been experimenting in the last part of 2024 and also in this first part of 2025. I mean now in April. I'm going to mention this because many of these things that have been happening in the world, activations of Uranus in Taurus, terrestrial movements, and well, many things that are, in this tension belong or are in synchronicity with these transits. But I'm going to expand on this later. Let's go with these beautiful aspects right now. It is not like a denial, but to understand how to do our part and how to contribute to the transformation of the distortions in our planet. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.